Hey, buddy, there's this invisible line inside every single one of us. It's the boundary that separates who we really are from what society tries to shape us into. Most folks cross that line without even realizing it. They bend, they shrink, they conform doing whatever it takes to be accepted, liked, or approved of. And the craziest part, it all starts with small things. You let someone cut you off in traffic and just laugh about it. You go along with something you don't agree with just so you don't stir things up. You tell people it's okay when it's clearly not, all because you don't want to be a bother. Over time, these little habits become your way of life, and before you know it, you're no longer living for yourself, you are living to make everyone else comfortable. Long before our time, the Stoics warned us about this. Marcus Aurelius once said, "It constantly amazes me. We love ourselves more than others, yet we care more about their opinions than our own." On one hand, we claim we value ourselves, but on the other, we're handing over our self-respect just to get a tiny bit of approval. Think about that. How many times have you left a conversation replaying what you should have said? How many times have you felt disrespected but kept your mouth shut because you didn't want to be that person? That's where the problem begins. When you diminish yourself, when you pretend to be smaller, weaker, or less capable than you really are, you're teaching the world how to treat you. And honestly, most of the time, the world will treat you exactly what you demand, more or less. The Stoic way isn't about being arrogant or cold. It's about knowing who you are so deeply that nobody can bring you down without your permission. Real importance in life isn't about fame or wealth. It's about living in a way that makes you matter to yourself first. It's about having an internal code that you won't break, no matter what. And here's the brutal truth. The moment you start lowering yourself just to please others, you stop respecting yourself. And when that happens, you invite others to treat you the same way. The Stoics called this virtue, staying true to your principles, no matter the cost. Epictetus hammered this home when he said you should never trade your integrity for anything that doesn't truly matter. If something costs you your self-respect, no matter what it promises, it's just too expensive. So today, I want to share 5 key lessons from Stoicism that will help you never sell yourself short again. These aren't just motivational slogans, they are practical, real, human truths you can use in your own life. From now on, you'll learn how to stand your ground without coming across as aggressive, how to value your own voice without seeking constant validation, and how to become someone who commands quiet respect. You see, what makes Stoicism so powerful is that it's not just about what to do, it's about understanding why it matters. Once you grasp the philosophy, you realize this isn't about winning social battles. It's about protecting the most vital relationship you'll ever have, the one with yourself. Close your eyes for a moment and picture a version of yourself who never needs to explain your worth, not when challenged, not to impress anyone, just confidently standing in your truth. That version of you isn't a fantasy. It's a skill you can develop, but only if you stop minimizing yourself and start living by a code that no one else can rewrite. By the time you reach the end of this, you'll have 5 clear lessons from Stoicism that can anchor you in strength, dignity, and a sense of inner importance. These lessons aren't meant to impress others, they're about commanding respect by never betraying your integrity. Remember, the respect you give yourself sets the price the world must pay to deal with you. Before we begin, I want you to make a promise, and not to me, but to yourself. From today forward, pledge that you won't make yourself small for people who would never grow for you. If you're serious, stay with me until the very end. Don't skip a single part, because each lesson builds on the last. And if this message already feels like exactly what you needed to hear, hit that like button, drop a comment, share it with someone who's been losing their self-respect, and subscribe to the channel so we can walk this journey together. If you're with me, type in the comments, "I am claiming my worth today." Lesson number 1. Stop explaining yourself to everyone. One of the fastest ways people diminish themselves without even realizing it is by over-explaining your decisions, your dreams, your actions. It might seem polite or like you're just trying to be understood, But the truth is, every time you justify yourself, you're giving away your power. Epictetus, remember, the Stoic philosopher, said that if you want to be a writer, just write. Don't feel like you need to explain to everyone why you write so they can approve of you. The Stoics knew that our actions should speak for themselves. The more you explain, the more you're inviting others to pick apart your reasons, challenge your motives, and plant seeds of doubt in your mind. Over-explaining is rooted in insecurity, a belief that your choices aren't valid until someone else gives you permission. It's like you're lowering yourself to seek approval, and in doing so, you're handing over your authority. You're telling the world, I don't trust my own judgment unless you do. Here's the harsh truth. Not everyone will agree with your decisions. Not everyone will understand them. And you don't owe anyone an explanation for living your life the way you see fit. If someone doesn't like what you're doing, that's their emotional work. It's not your job to fix it. Think about how much energy you spend trying to explain your choice, whether it's why you left a job, ended a relationship, changed your lifestyle, or pursued a new goal. And often, the people you explain yourself to aren't even in your corner. They wouldn't even be there if you stumbled and fell flat. The Stoics teach that peace comes from focusing on what's within your control: your actions, your decisions, other people's opinions, not within your control. Every moment you spend trying to get others to understand you is a moment you could be living your truth. When you stop over-explaining, you're essentially making a statement. I trust myself enough to move forward without your approval. That's a real act of self-respect. And it doesn't mean you have to be rude or dismissive, just clear and confident. You don't have to argue, but you do need to realize that your life isn't a courtroom where every decision must be defended to a jury. Look at the people who walk with quiet confidence. They don't flood you with reasons for what they do. They simply act. Because they act without explaining, people tend to take them more seriously. It's about letting your actions do the talking. For example, if you present an idea at work, don't immediately follow it with a dozen justifications. That tells everyone you're unsure. Instead, state your idea confidently and stand by it. Project certainty. Here's the simplest way Stoicism makes it easy. Know your values. Make your choices based on those values. When your actions speak louder than words, you don't feel the need to broadcast every decision. You're grounded in your purpose. And when you're rooted in your core, the judgment of others begins to bounce off a stronger version of you. Next time you catch yourself wanting to explain, ask, is this explanation necessary for me to move forward? If the answer's no, then silence is your most powerful response. It's a statement. I trust myself enough to proceed without your validation. That kind of confidence, you without arrogance, is a sign of self-respect. People might still judge, but their judgments are less likely to affect you. Remember Seneca's words. Associate with those who will improve you. Notice he didn't say, find people who always understand you. Not everyone will get you on, that's okay. What matters is that you get you. The person who constantly needs to explain themselves has already handed over their worth to others. The real power comes from acting with conviction, being important not because others say so, but because you've stopped living for outside approval. If you want to stop lowering yourself, start here. Cut down on explanations. Speak only when necessary. Stand firm in your decisions without waiting for an audience to validate you. And when you do this, your life feels lighter. Your presence becomes stronger. Remember, truly important people don't go around talking about their importance. They live their principles so clearly that it's undeniable. Now take a moment and type this in the comments if you're ready to trust yourself more. I no longer explain my worth. Lesson number 2. Never compete for someone's attention. One of the deepest ways we lower ourselves is by chasing people who don't really value us. Whether it's friends, romantic partners, or colleagues, we work tirelessly not for our goals, but just to get noticed, to be chosen, to feel like we matter. And the painful truth, when you compete for attention, you're silently telling that person and yourself that their approval is more important than your dignity. Marcus Aurelius pointed out something profound. The soul takes on the color of its thoughts. If your mind is preoccupied with how do I get them to notice me, or how can I prove my worth, then your actions will become desperate, and desperation makes you appear less valuable. Genuine respect and true connection can't be forced. If someone recognizes your worth, they'll act accordingly without you jumping through hoops. If they don't see it, your effort will never be enough because they're not viewing you through the lens of your true value. Chasing attention is like entering a silent auction where your worth is up for bites you read, giving others the power to decide if you win or lose. That's dangerous because it's outside your control. The Stoics remind us that we need to focus on what we can control: our own actions, our internal state, not others' opinions. Sometimes you might temporarily get their attention with a compliment, a favor, or a desperate attempt to stand out, but it's fleeting. All that effort just proves you're trying too hard. Real respect comes when you stop trying to win approval and start living your purpose. Don't fall into that cycle of trying to grab attention. If someone makes you feel like you have to fight for their acknowledgement, that's a clear sign they don't see you as truly valuable. Think about the most respected people you know. They don't chase fame or validation. They're focused on their mission, their values, their growth. And because of that focus, people naturally gravitate toward them. Remember, attention follows purpose, not the other way around. Instead of asking, how can I get their attention? Ask yourself, do I even want the attention of someone who doesn't value me without me asking? When you shift your focus like that, the answer becomes obvious. Epictetus said, if you want to improve, be willing to be thought a fool. Meaning, be okay with people misunderstanding your worth while you keep building it quietly. The right people will see your value without you having to advertise it. That doesn't mean you have to be cold or distant, just honest with yourself. Stop performing for others' approval. You can care without attaching your self-worth to whether they notice or praise you. And trust me, people can feel when you're trying to win them over. Whether through jokes, favors, or over-involvement, that energy leaks out. And energy speaks louder than words. When you stop chasing attention, something incredible happens. You take back your power. You shift from trying to be liked to knowing who you are, and you don't need to shrink or seek validation to be seen. Over time, the right people will notice you without you even trying. And those who ignored you before will suddenly wonder why you're not chasing anymore. That's when you understand that attention is cheap. What you truly need is respect. And respect only comes when you refuse to beg for it. Living with importance isn't about how many people are watching. It's about how you carry yourself when no one's looking. Live in a way that makes your worth undeniable. Now, if you're ready for this, type in the comments, I am claiming my worth today. Lesson number 3, learn to walk away without warning. Most folks think strength means fighting, proving a point, or winning arguments. But real strength, sometimes it's just turning your back and walking away without shouting, explaining, or trying to make that person understand why. People fall into the trap of staying too long in situations that aren't serving them. They stay because they hope things will change, because they want to see their worth reflected back, or because they're ashamed to admit they gave up. But here's the truth. Staying in draining circumstances isn't loyalty, it's self-betrayal. Seneca said, associate with those who make you a better man. Welcome those you can improve and in turn learn from them. The point is, if a relationship or environment doesn't lift you up, if it's not making you more than you were, then you don't need it. Walking away isn't about being cold, it's about protecting your mind, your dignity, and your future. And here's why the element of surprise matters. Warning someone before you leave, like, if this doesn't change, I'm out, can give them a chance to manipulate you or offer temporary fixes. But that's just prolonging the inevitable. Silent withdrawal is a clear signal that you've already decided enough is enough. You've given enough of yourself, and now it's time to reclaim your space. By leaving without drama or explanation, you show that your energy is too valuable to waste. When you walk away quietly, the people who truly care will notice and reach out. The ones who don't, they won't, and that's the real test of who belongs in your life. Stoicism reminds us that we shouldn't be controlled by what's outside our reach. You can't control whether others respect you or treat you well, but you can control whether you stay in environments that diminish you. When you walk away, you prove to yourself that your worth is non-negotiable. It's about setting boundaries that protect your dignity without guilt. And this isn't about impulsively cutting people off every time they slip up. It's about recognizing patterns. If someone consistently undervalues you, believe them. Don't wait for them to suddenly change. Trust their actions, not their words. Step out of environments where you're not respected and into ones where you are. The beauty of walking away without warning is that it creates quiet strength. No drama, no begging, no final speeches. Just decisive action and assertion that your energy is too precious to waste. People who truly value you will notice and will seek your company naturally. Those who don't, they won't, and that's how you know who's really in your corner. Remember what Marcus Aurelius said. Act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death is always around the corner. While you're alive, be good. To the Stoics, being good means using your time wisely, spending it on what matters, what supports your growth and peace. Don't be a slave to endless availability or to environments that drain your life. Question every commitment. If this were my last week alive, would I still give my time to this? If not, think twice before saying yes. Being intentional with your time is the best way to lead a meaningful life. It's the best way to protect your spirit from wasting itself on what doesn't matter. And that's why you should guard your time like it's gold, because it is. You can't earn more seconds, but you can choose how to spend them. Life is too precious to give away to trivialities like endless scrolling, pointless arguments, or overcommitting to things that won't nourish you. When you start protecting your time, you'll notice something real. People will respect that boundary. If they see you won't waste your own time, they're less likely to do it for you. Marcus Aurelius urged himself to remember, don't act as if you have 100,000 years. Death is always near. While you live, be good. That means maximizing your hours on what's truly valuable, your growth, peace, and purpose. Before saying yes to anything, ask yourself, if this was my last week, would I still spend my time on it? If the answer's no, then don't. The more deliberate you are, the more meaningful your life becomes, and the less you'll tolerate anything that steals your time or spirit. Lesson number 4. Speak less, mean more. One of the sneakiest ways we diminish ourselves is by talking too much, filling silence, trying to impress, proving our intelligence, or seeking approval. Sometimes, just saying something anything becomes a way of hiding our insecurity. Words are powerful, but when they're scattered or excessive, they lose their weight. The Stoics emphasized restraint, speaking only what's necessary and meaningful. Zeno, the founder of Stoicism, believed that speech should serve truth and purpose, not ego or impulse. Epictetus echoed that idea when he said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we speak." The more you talk, the more chances there are for misunderstandings, for your words to be twisted, or for people to judge you prematurely. But more importantly, speaking without purpose diminishes your own voice. Think about the people you respect most. They are often the ones who listen quietly, observe carefully, and then speak with precision. When they do speak, their words carry real authority. By talking less, your words automatically gain weight. When you do speak, people will pay more attention because they sense you're intentional. This quiet confidence makes you stand out, not because you're being aloof or manipulative, but because you've chosen to be deliberate. Pausing before speaking gives you the chance to think clearly. Many of us damage our respectability by reacting impulsively, blurting out promises we can't keep, revealing things that come back to haunt us, or speaking in anger. The Stoics taught that a pause, a moment of reflection between stimulus and response, is essential. It's where your true strength is tested. And here's the core. When you speak without purpose, you're often trying to prove something: your worth, your cleverness, your precedence. But that desperation shows. People remember someone who's calm and composed in chaos, not someone who's loud and argumentative. Instead, Let your silence do the work. When you don't feel the need to fill every moment with words, you create space for your actions, your calmness, and your consistency to speak for themselves. That's real influence, quiet but powerful. Discipline in speech is also self-respect. It shows the world, I don't need to give you every part of myself to prove I matter. You control your story through what you choose to share. The fewer words you utter, the less others can manipulate or spin your narrative. Marcus Aurelius said it simply, if it's not right, don't do it. If it's not true, don't say it. Easy to remember but powerfully act when it's right, only speak when it's true. Imagine every word passing through that filter. When you feel the urge to speak, pause, ask yourself, is this necessary? Is it adding value? Listen more than you talk. Replace chatter with a steady, purposeful presence. Let your confidence grow in silence rather than in noise. Remember, silence can be an answer, a boundary, and an expression of strength all at once. When you master this, you stop chasing influence and start attracting respect. People will lean in not because you're trying to be heard, but because your words come with the weight of someone who knows their worth. So if you're ready, declare it below. My silence holds power, and start living it. The process of lowering yourself is gradual, small compromises, exaggerated politeness, over-explanation until finally, you look in the mirror and wonder why you feel invisible. The Stoics teach us, importance isn't about titles or applause. It's living by principles you refuse to betray. Living with integrity means carrying yourself with quiet confidence, knowing your worth is non-negotiable. When you do, the world will have no choice but to treat you differently. Remember, Marcus Aurelius said, your power lies in your mind, not external events. Focus on that inner strength and everything else will fall into place. If you've made it to the end, hold this in your mind. Your worth isn't something they can give or take away. It's yours to protect. Like, share, comment, tell me your thoughts and subscribe for more Stoic wisdom.